On this episode of the podcast, I got an amazing entrepreneur all the way from Philadelphia. He's going to be talking about real estate investing, how we got into real estate, how we got his first property, and also how he's changing the game and impacting so many people. We're talking about Calvin Cannon Jr. on this episode of the podcast. So you know what? I'm going to just find Calvin. Oh, what up, bro?
Yo, what's going on with you?
What's
How
good
you
with
feeling?
you, man? Hey, man, I'm chilling.
Good.
What's going on? What we doing today?
Hey, man, listen, we're going to jump on this podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to give them some real estate information, let them know about the difference between a real estate influencer and somebody who really do real estate and allow you to pull up.
So listen, bro, I actually lost a property in real estate.
What?
So hopefully in this episode, you can tell me what I need to do to get with you and obviously start building my real estate portfolio again.
Hey, listen, man, I'm going to bring you back. Listen, you only lose in real estate when you quit, baby. I got you.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Appreciate you.
Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the On the Pursuit podcast. On the podcast, we connect with amazing entrepreneurs from all over the place that are actually doing real things. Not just saying they do things, not people that you follow and it sounds like they're doing it. No. This gentleman actually does it, and he has a track record of success. And when I was looking at our thread, we've been talking since 2022, man. So it's a long time coming for us to actually be sitting here and being able to connect. So without any more delay, I want to invite and introduce the amazing Calvin Cannon Jr.
Oh man, yeah. Brendan, thank you. I appreciate that, man, and thank you absolutely for having me on your platform. It's an honor and a pleasure. Yeah, we've been talking for a minute, man.
We've been talking for a little bit, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're in the Philadelphia area?
Philadelphia, PA. Yeah, born and raised.
So how come you haven't left?
Sometimes I do leave because I go out and visit, but you always come back home because home is where the heart is.
100%. Now, the reason why I asked you that is because for a lot of people, they get stuck, right? So they'll get stuck, they'll graduate, they'll get married, they have a family, they buy a house, maybe it's in the city in the suburbs, and then they just recycle every single year it's the same thing, right? Sure. Because they don't get out of their environment, they don't see nothing different, right? They don't think bigger. So what was it about your experience that allowed you to, obviously stay where you are, right? Where you were born, but continue to grow and expand, see that there's more out there, but still keep it home in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. So Philadelphia for me is my home base. So that's where my legacy is. I do get out, I travel, I get around, I go state to state, but coming home is where my peace is. Being on the road is always temporary. I'll go out, I'll visit different places, get the experience. But then when I need a peace of mind to relax, to get grounded, to get back with God, I go back home.
Gotcha. So what's one of your favorite things about Philly?
Peace. I would say my favorite thing about Philly is, just the culture that because the way that I was raised and grew up. Sometimes when you go back and you see that, you see the structure of things of how I became who I am. So it brings me back to a humbling point where I know that I can be out in the world and I can see all this lifestyle and I can be here, be there. But when I get back to Philadelphia, I'm plain Jane. Nobody really, taps into me like that because I can hide behind the scene a little bit.
That's kind of like when I go back to Boston. It's like the same thing. Like I'm able to kind of like
blend in.
Yeah,
for sure.
And just do what I used to do. Yeah. And if someone catches me from like, back in the day, it's just like I never left.
Sure.
So I can definitely understand that.
It's kind of like, that's just Calvin. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
There's no cameras in my face. So
what's a harsh lesson that you learned in the very beginning? Because I don't look at life that we ever experience failures. I feel like they're just lessons. So what was like one harsh life lesson that you really got a gem from that kind of took you in the direction that obviously you ended up being successful in?
I think one of the biggest gems that I learned was start learning to value time, not take time for granted, not take people for granted. Although that, there's a lot of things that we might rip and run and do because we're entrepreneurs, but at some time you got to slow down and smell the roses and slow down and just value the time because, one thing we can always do is make a lot of money, right? We can make money, you can spend money, you can lose money, you can make money again because they print money every day.
Yeah, for sure.
But the one thing you're never going to get back is time. I haven't learned how to be in that time machine to go backwards. So I learned how to start valuing my time a little bit better.
Was there something that happened specifically? Was it an individual or a situation? What gave you the different concept to value time differently?
Oh man, that's a great question, Brendan. So for me, I got diagnosed with prostate cancer.
How old were you?
About 6-7 years ago. I probably was like in my late 30s.
Okay.
And which is a little bit different for African American men because a lot of times we don't get checked for prostate until we almost 50, 55 years old. And I had prostate in my late 30s, early 40s. So that means that if I never got that check done, I would have never known, and cancer would have taken me out before I even made 65. So prostate cancer is something that's very, very serious. And when I got diagnosed with it, I was ripping and running. I wasn't valuing time. I was all over the place, on this show, that platform, doing this speaking engagement.
Yeah.
And then when God hit me with that, like, slow down, and he slowed me down for real because I was on my deathbed. And then at that point, when I got off my deathbed, I said a prayer that if you get me out of here, I'm gonna make sure I pour in everybody. But more importantly, I'm gonna value my time a little bit better.
So in that moment, take us back, right? So you saying you was on your deathbed.
Yep.
Was that a week, a month? Were you actually at the hospital?
Absolutely.
What like take us back to that moment, and then also what led to you getting checked?
So I was in the hospital probably for about 3 days. I was supposed to be in for a week, but when you get a surgery, you can be released from the hospital when you're in recovery once you actually recover. I was dealing with prostate cancer probably for about 4 to 5 months. So once I got diagnosed with it, you have to make decisions. The doctors that give you what their opinion is of the procedures and what their opinion is on how to handle it. But ultimately, you have to make the decision because no surgery is always promised. So I was dealing with it for 3 to 4 months. I finally made my decision to go ahead and do the surgery. Once I did the surgery, I was in the hospital, supposed to be like for 3 days. I was out of the hospital in 24 hours because I don't like hospitals. So I asked the nurse and the recovery doctor, what is it that I need to do to get out of here? And one of the most important things was I needed to move my bowels and I needed to walk around. So that particular night, I got up and I walked all night. I never slept because I just needed to get out.
That
of the
sounds like a
hospital.
purposeful walk right there, bro.
Yeah, it was. So a little painful though, because when I left in 24 hours, I got rushed back to the emergency room within 6 hours because I really wasn't healed. It was a mental thing for me not to be there, So I walked that out, got out of there.
Had to come back.
Within 6 hours, emergency room. And then again, the same mentality kicked in. I can't stay here. So I walked again. And then this time when I left, I was good to go. So then I went home.
What was that procedure like? So for men that haven't done that,
Yep.
that may have to go through that procedure. Give us a little clarity on what was that procedure like.
So a lot of times, when we're young, we take for granted our eating habits, and we go get physicals, but is a part of a physical called a PSA, and that's a testing that tests the blood, and prostate cancer lives in PSA, and once your PSA score spikes, then you know if prostate cancer is growing inside of your system.
So is there a certain level that it needs to be at, and if it's above this level?
Sure. So that's a great question, especially for people listening. Your level should be undetectable. It should be undetectable. So as you start to see the level starting to rise up, one thing that people don't understand is that everybody has cancer in them. It's just a matter if you're gonna turn it on or not.
Yeah.
Right. So cancer is nothing but a bad cell, and then that bad cell grabs onto other cells and eat those cells up and turn more good cells into bad cells. So everybody has it in your system. It's just a matter of, are your eating habits going to turn that on?
Yeah, for sure.
So somebody might get a PSA score and it might be like 0.1 or 0.2. It doesn't mean that they're at risk or something is wrong. It just means that something is going on. You know what I mean? So when I originally got tested for my PSA, I was at a 0.7. And you're supposed to be undetectable.
Yeah.
Then as time went on, my 0.7 went up to a 5. A positive 5.
So you had a 0.7, which was under 1,
which
and
is
then
under 1
went up to 5,
and then it turned to a 5. So because sometimes with anytime you get tested when it comes to the blood, and by all means, I'm not a health professional, but just from my experience. So anytime you get blood tested, that blood testing can have a variation in it. And that variation can be like, you can get tested today and it can be one thing, you can get tested next week and then it can be a total different number.
For sure, yeah.
So you get multiple tests and then they take an average of the tests. So when I was getting tested, I came back 0.7. Then a couple months later, I came back a 5, a positive 5. That's how we knew the cancer was starting to get aggressive. Most people who catch the cancer are over a 7 or 8. So now that becomes an emergency situation. So I was kind of like on that cuff.
Yeah, on the cusp.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you had that conversation, the first thing you think is life is over.
For sure.
You know, so when you get into that, a lot of times it's not the cancer that kills you, it's really your mentality of you shutting down your system and stop fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you got to have your pity party, but then you got to put your boxing gloves on and go to work.
Yeah.
You know?
So was rent due before that, or was rent due after that?
Rent was due after that.
Rent was due after that. Okay. All right. Cool. So it's a great transition, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So coming out of that, right? Yeah. What allowed you to now start focus on heavy on obviously your purpose and your impact, and then leveraging and utilizing real estate to do so?
So I started real estate back in 91. You know,
I was 11. How old was you back in 91?
17.
Okay.
I was 17 years old. So started very, very young. But when I started real estate, excuse me, I stumbled on real estate. I didn't start real estate because I wanted to start real estate at 17. I started real estate because I wanted my own independency. You know, I was living in my parents' house, and you know, a lot of times when you're a 17-year-old child, you're feeling yourself. You know what I mean? You're like, especially as a man, you want to get out, you want to, you know, meet people, party, and do different things. My mom was very, very strict. I had to be in that, you know, as soon as the street light came on, 8:30, 9 o'clock.
I think that was just black parents.
Yeah, it is, man.
Street lights,
it's tough. Yeah. It's tough. And then not only street lights, but then even the street lights and your neighbors told on you, and it was permissible for your neighbors to put their hands on you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So if your parents didn't beat you, you know, your neighbor next door would have whooped you.
Definitely.
So my mom was very strict. So I wanted to get out of her house. So my segue to that was go to college, because I figured if I go to college, I can live on campus. I graduated from Bishop McDevitt High School. Then I went to Temple University before I started college. And then I filled out my stipend fund forms, which is like a grant program where you can get money for books and things of that nature for room and board. I got a $5,000 check for a grant program. I filled out the documents late. I got the $5,000 check after the semester. So I was supposed to hold it for the next semester, but instead I took the $5,000 and I bought a duplex apartment building at 32nd and Cecil B. Moore.
So what led you to do that? Because like most people probably took that $5K, spent on some J's.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So did you know that you wanted to acquire real estate previously? What made you put that down payment down?
Because I knew after that semester I had to go back to my mom's house.
And you wasn't trying to do that.
So I didn't want to go back. So I said, you know what? Let me get this. Because if I get this, even though, you know, I have to go back if I get this apartment, but I don't have to go back.
But were you looking on your own?
No. So actually my grandfather knew a young lady who was selling the property, and he was actually going to acquire the property. You know, and I said, hey, I got 5,000. His eyes kind of lit up like, okay, well, you know, just go ahead and get it. Yeah. So I gave him the money. He bought the property. The property went into my name. By this time I was 18 years old already anyway. So I bought the property. I signed papers that I don't even know what I signed. You know, all I knew is that I wanted to be in this property.
Yeah.
When, the back windows had boards on them. The front windows didn't lock. Front door didn't even lock. You know, I
it's mine though.
Yeah, it's mine. Yeah. I use furniture to even lock my door, right?
For sure.
So eating, you know, oodles and noodles, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and baking Pillsbury dough cookies and drinking Clover iced tea. I remember it like clockwork. That was my favorite meal. That was my favorite meal. Even till today, when I need to humble myself, I'm eating peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I stayed there for about another year, going into my second year. And there was a gentleman who he was an entrepreneur. He had his own pharmaceutical company on the corner on 32nd and Cecil B. Moore. He approached me and he said, hey, I want to buy this property. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm 18-year-old kid. I mean, you tell me you want to buy something, I'm not into selling stuff. So it didn't really register.
It didn't click. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going back and forth to school. You know, fast forward, he came back another day. He had a bag full of money. He was like, I'm ready to buy. And I was like, buy what? He was like, the property. He opened up the bag. I seen the money. I said, here's the keys.
Yeah.
You know, so I went in, packed
so
up.
So you didn't know even how much the property was worth at the time?
Nope.
Yeah.
Didn't know how. I knew nothing about.
You just seen the bag of money.
I seen the bag of money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I seen the bag of money. He had a stack of papers. We went inside. He told me to sign everything. He said, look, you know, put everything that you want to take out. He said, you don't even got to clean it out. I was like, half the furniture was hand-me-down furniture anyway. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't afford no furniture.
Yeah.
So I grabbed my school books. I grabbed some clothes that I had. I grabbed that bag of money and I went back to my parents' house.
How much bread was it?
It was supposed to be allegedly $60,000.
Got you.
Yeah, so I paid $5 for it, and allegedly I was supposed to get back $60, but I never counted it.
So you don't even know what it was?
Nope.
So what'd you do with the money?
Went back to my parents' house. Went in. I was, at this time, like I'm really feeling myself now. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking
He's
at
like,
cars.
yo, I just sold my first property.
I didn't even say that. You know what? You know what I said? I said to myself, I was like, I'm rich.
Yeah.
Because I seen that was my first time ever seeing a large amount of money in one place. Right. And it was nice and neat. Had the little,
had the
bankroll bands on it. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm up. You know what I mean? Because I only seen that in commercials, So I get home and I'm telling my mom, like, hey, listen, we made it. You can quit your job. And, I'm real hyped up. And then she looked at the bag of money and she just started crying and she grabbed me, put me in a car, took me to the police station. Yeah.
Word.
Because she was a strict parent. Like she was
like,
there was no way. Yeah, where did I get the money from?
Yeah.
And then my cousins and family.
She took you to the police station with the money.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So her assumption that you just did something crazy with it.
Because my cousins and my family was in the street. So they was into that. So her fear was, are you holding did somebody tell you to take this money or hold it? So she was, and then back then the crime was like robbing and stealing. So she wanted to make sure I wasn't caught up in nothing stupid.
Yeah.
So she took me to the police station.
That's wild, bro.
I got there and I'm furious. I'm in the car. What are you doing? I'm trying to explain to her, but I can't articulate what happened because I didn't understand, a real estate transaction deal. So I'm like, no, the guy on the corner, he gave me the money so took me to the police station. We went in the back, Broad and Champlos. It was I think it was called Northeast Detectives at that time. We went in the back. They took the money in the back. He came out. We got into a black tinted Crown Vic, Ford Crown Vic car, and drove back to the apartment building. We get to the apartment building. The detective went in. Me and my mom sat in the car. The detective called us inside of the property. We go inside and we having a conversation. And the guy pulled out all the documents. He pulled out, his bank receipts and showed where his money was sourced from. I'm assuming today. And he looked at my mom and said, "Your son did a real estate transaction."
Yeah.
Gave me the bag of money back. Took us back to the police station. Now I'm back feeling myself, wiping my tears.
You're like, Mom, give me that bag.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we get in. Still never counted the money. Now, I think the police might have counted it. But I know that I never counted it. It was too much. Like I felt like it was too much money to count. I just felt like I was rich. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? So went back to my mom's house, gave my sister money, my mom money. I bought my first car. I bought a convertible Mustang. No, I'm sorry. I bought a convertible Mustang and I bought a Ford Thunderbird at that time. Spending money, still going to school.
So 2 whips?
2 whips. Yep. So I mean, I'm still spending money, going to school. And then I realized it hit me. Now I'm back in mom's house. I got to be back in the house 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I moved from the second floor. We was in a 3-bedroom house, row home, moved from the second floor to the basement. So I'm thinking being in the basement, I would get a little bit more freedom because I could sneak in and out the back door. Needless to say, the washer and dryer was in the basement. So that means that every week mom came in the basement to wash clothes. And now my new job is to wash clothes.
Facts.
So I was like, I got to get out of here.
100%.
So I went back in the bag. Now in this, I counted, I had about $8,000 to $10,000 left. I went and I bought a 4-unit apartment building on 4400 block of Germantown Avenue. I moved into that and I lived in every unit. And ever since then, I never went back.
Man, so I think honestly, there's a couple of different lessons there.
Yeah.
I think number one is because you had that feeling of, you know what, I need to get out of here, which for some people, that's what's going to catapult you to move.
Yep.
Now that could be for you, it's like, you didn't want to be at the house no more.
Right.
But for somebody, it could be a death, it could be a loss, it could be a car accident.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It could be losing your job. Something that's just going to get you to take some action.
Yep.
Right? Then you like, yo, I got some money.
Yeah.
I need a spot to live.
Yeah.
You just happen to be in a situation where your grandfather, you know what I'm saying, he was acquiring a property, boom, you get it. Now you have this property that you don't necessarily know the value, but you know the value of being on your own space.
For sure.
Right? Now you're there for a little bit, and then you have a gentleman, right? Business person, entrepreneur, who now sees the value in your asset.
Yep.
And he probably sees the value that you don't see yet.
Yep.
Which is why he wanted to acquire it.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure, as you know, because this is what you do, he probably bought it for a really good price.
Oh, heck yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He bought it for the love. He's like, yo, it's a young kid. I'm put out a number.
Yep.
So he bought it for a good price, we're assuming. And then, what does that probably look like now?
So right now he still owns the property. The value, last time I checked, the value was $475.
Did he redevelop it?
I don't know. So no, he didn't knock it down or do like a outside remodel for the exterior. So I don't know what the inside looks like. But I do know the last time I checked it, probably like 3-4 years ago, it was at $475.
Gotcha.
So if I could have just imagined what it is today, it's definitely over $500,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I cry every day. You know, inside tears. I'm like, man, I should have. But it comes down to, Brendan, that I didn't know.
No, 100%.
The information that you don't know is what really hurts you.
And the thing about that, and that's so powerful, bro, is that the information that you don't know costs more than the information that you do know that you don't take action on.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So people will do things every single day because, you know what? I want to learn this information because I want to do this, right? I want to maybe go to this class or go to this course or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the invoice comes, right? And all the invoices, to me, I think the invoice is a check to see if you really want the thing that you say you want.
For sure.
Because this is now this is the initial cost of what it takes just to be at the start.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you can't even make that investment, you're not even going to be the person that's going to do everything that's going to come along with what it takes for you to do the thing that you say that you want to do.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
1,000% agree.
So I think that's really the biggest piece right there. But for you, you know, I don't know what was in your mindset at the time. It just sounds like you were just really taking action and not wanting to be at home. Sounds like enough to, you know what I'm saying, to get you in that to get you in that mode.
Yeah.
So now you bought your second piece of property,
quad,
which is a 4-unit, right? So from there, what happened or what led you to actually now getting into the space, searching for the information, acquiring information, and then building out the portfolio?
Yeah. So when I got that quad, I actually I went through a title company. I actually did an agreement to sell. So now I'm understanding what I'm signing.
You're going through the process.
I'm going through the process now. Even though I paid cash for it, and the process was a little bit faster than normal, because it was a cash deal and cash transaction. I understood that I'm doing something now. So now I'm feeling a more sense of ownership. When I had the duplex on 32nd Street more, I didn't really feel like I owned it. I just felt like I gave up whatever I had and I'm living here. So I lived in every unit in the quad. I knew nothing about contractors. I knew nothing about fixing up anything. I did it myself. I was doing electrical, plumbing. I did my own painting. Yeah. I mean, I was doing electrical wires and switches with black electrical tape, because that's all I knew. You know what I mean? I didn't have no training. Once I fixed up each unit to the point where I could put a tenant in it, I started renting it out. That's when it hit. It clicked in like, okay, I rented out this first floor for $600.
Cash flow.
Second floor, $600. Cash flow. Third floor, $600. $1,800, right? Yeah. Around the back was another $600.
Yeah, how much was it? Was cash, so you didn't have a mortgage?
I didn't have no mortgage.
How much was insurance?
About $700 a year.
Man, so a year?
A year.
That's crazy. Yeah. So you was making $1,800 a month on a property.
18, then it went to 24.
24, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you was in there living in a unit still.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And now you're like, oh, I'm getting money now. I'm getting like rent's coming in.
Rent's coming in. Yeah. So as I'm getting the money, meanwhile, at this time I had a 9-to-5 job as well. So now what was happening at my job is that I've always been a go-getter. I just never was a go-getter for me. So
that's heavy, bro.
You
have to say that again.
You know what I mean?
No. We can't get past that.
Yeah.
Drop that again.
Yeah. So I've always been a go-getter, but I've never been a go-getter for me. And here's what I mean by that. So I started working at a retail supermarket. I started off as a security guard outside looking in. Couldn't even get inside. College degree, on my way to get a college degree and everything. And I'm standing on the outside while everybody else is in the inside. So I got promoted from security guard to a store detective to a shift manager to an evening manager to assistant manager to store manager, general store manager to district manager to regional manager. So when I say that,
that sounds like the corporate ladder for real.
Right. But I believed in their LLC before I believed in my LLC.
Wow.
And that's what's crazy. Yeah, and I gave them 15, 18 years of my life. So here it is. I'm started making cash flow, but I was afraid because I didn't have the confidence to bet on me. So this check that I was getting from the supermarket, it was a consistent check every week. I'm getting, $800 to $1,000 every week on like clockwork. Even though I'm getting this, $1,824 a month from the cash flow, but that wasn't strong enough for me to say that I quit. So at that point, I'm like, you know what? Something got to change. When I got hit with the cancer, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm still this corporate guy, right? And I'm just like, I was wearing suit and ties every day. If anybody knows my story, I stayed in a suit. I would go to the supermarket every day. I was in a suit and tie. Not that there's anything wrong with a suit and tie. It's just that that's what they groomed me to be. They groomed me to be this corporate man. Yeah.
So a person, your identity was in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So what really hit me though was going back and forth, interviewing for different positions, fighting with different people to get promoted. And I'm like, what am I doing here? So I went back to school. At that time, I was in school for criminal justice. I wanted to be an attorney. I went back to school. I switched my major to business management. Once I did the real estate deal of the quad, I also took myself to real estate school.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I signed the documentations, but I didn't know where they came from. I didn't know how to read them. All I know is that at the title company, when they told me to sign here, I signed there. Just like what people do today. Like nobody's reading them documents. Mm-hmm. They're just signing.
Yeah.
Right? When the notary say, let me see your ID, sign here, sign here, sign here. You're like, okay.
Okay. Let me get it.
Yeah. Right? Because you're so excited about the transaction that's about to happen, but you're not excited about what's happening on the back end to you.
100%, yeah.
So I took myself back to school, got my real estate license. Now I'm doing real estate transactions for customers. And now I started doing something called pipeline money, which is basically when I help somebody buy a property, right? I might get my commission. It might be $3,000 to $5,000, but you don't get that for 30 to 45 days out once you go to settlement. So I think to myself and say, you know what? If I put the same energy that I put inside of this supermarket business inside of my business, I can take my business to the next level. So I started going to work now with a purpose. And my purpose was I recognized that my employee was my silent partner. And not only am I going there to get a paycheck, I'm going there to get information now. So my job was my first mentor, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I went in there, I took all their paperwork. I took all their documents. I took all their OSHA documents. I learned how to read P&Ls. I learned EBITDA. Everything that they taught me, everything that I did every day at that job, I took all those documents. I took it to the library. I was making copies of everything, and I implemented that inside of my business.
That's crazy.
And then I respectfully fired my boss.
Hey man, listen, we gotta touch on that. I really like the motivation behind that and the mindset, and then obviously you had a moment of clarity and then a shift because it sounds like you recognize the value in going after your own thing.
Yep.
Then obviously the 15 to 18 years that you was doing the corporate ladder.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
You climbed every single rung.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounded like it, right?
Did.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
I fought for that though. It was tough.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on one second.
What's going on, guys? I know a lot of times you see a lot of different real estate ads online and you really want to get into real estate, but it's a lot of confusing things that's happening out there. So the one thing I want to give you is an opportunity to really do real estate, hands-on, and being in the field. So if this is something that you're interested in, all you have to do right now is click this link down below or shoot me a DM and you can sign up for the Cash Flow Roadmap hands-on programs, and I see you inside the field.
What was it like for you to teach these people, right? Because I used to be in real estate.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's like, yo, conversation about getting
let's
more
get
interesting now. So yeah, right. I had a moment kind of like, it wasn't like your moment, but I had a moment of clarity. So I'll take you through my first experience, and then we'll talk about me being an agent because it's gonna be relatable.
You was an agent?
Yeah,
bro. Man, let's talk, man.
You know
let's get busy.
So my grandmother, my great grandmother, and my uncle bought the property that I grew up in.
Okay.
And our property was in Boston. They were from they lived in Jersey. So when they moved from Jersey, they moved to Boston. It was up and coming at the time. They acquired this property in Mattapan, which is a neighborhood inside Boston. So I grew up there. Now, in my early to mid 20s, I finally had the opportunity to acquire the property because I don't know if you know a little bit about my story, but all my family members passed. So by the time I'm like teenager to like early 20s, they all passed. So I had an opportunity to acquire the property from my uncle before he passed away, because he was the last owner that was still living at the time, and he was transitioning retirement from service and everything like that. And it was kind of like the moment that you had where paperwork came, our credit was in good position. You know, I actually didn't have the money at the time, but we did like I think it was like a reverse mortgage situation where we used the equity, and that equity was put down as a down payment, and then that down payment then that equity became my mortgage. You know. So I was just blindly signing, boom, I got the property, right? So I don't know nothing at this point. I just know I own the house that I grew up in. You know what I mean? I'm living here. I'm doing Section 8. So I got someone on the third floor, someone on the first floor. The first floor tenant was absolutely crazy because I ended up renovating the whole thing. And I don't know what they had going on. They had I think one son, and I think he was special needs. But bro, they never cleaned in there. I had to go in there one time to inspect. I almost threw up because the smell was so crazy. So I'm thinking, my mom, like, how could y'all even be living in this joint? You know what I'm saying? And brand new kitchen, brand new washing machine, brand new dryer. Everything was black, bro. I'm like, I walked in there because we had to do an inspection. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I'm like,
how did we get here?
Like, how, right?
Yeah.
Because literally before they moved in, everything was brand new. So now, like you, I'm feeling myself. I'm like, oh, on my first property.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a 3-family. I'm cooking. This is a property that I grew up in. At the time, I think it was worth like maybe like $350, $400 or something like that. I'm living for free.
Yep.
The rent's paying, you know what I'm saying, the mortgage.
Yep.
I'm chilling.
Yep.
But I don't know real estate.
Right.
I just know that this building means something.
Yep.
And I'm living in it, right? So then I end up starting a clothing company with a friend of mine that was introduced to me by my brother and one of my best friends. And then him and I, we started going to this clothing company. It was like my second business.
Yep.
Part of my entrepreneurship journey. And what happened was it started to take off. So I quit my job. I was working at Sprint. I was there for like 4 years, quit my job. We started doing this, selling t-shirts out the trunk originally.
Nice.
Then it started growing. So we ended up getting, production in China, clothes selling overseas, online boutiques, big box, medium box, just, it was moving. And then you got celebrities, athletes, influencers all wearing clothes from like Kendrick to Cole to Chris Brown. We was on ESPN. So we had all these different collabs. It was going really well.
Right.
Now, my grandmother passes, she leaves me life insurance policy, right? So I got $150 and I saved her some bread.
Right.
So because I don't understand what's going on, but I'm understanding that this is, my company, the clothing company is doing well. What I'm missing is the fact that, we're losing cash flow.
Every day.
Because I'm investing all my money back into the business.
Right.
But the cash flow ain't coming in the same because I don't even understand how to run the business. I just know we're selling stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had no mentorship, right?
Yeah.
We're not budgeting. So I end up taking I end up blowing the 150. So you said you got 2 cars. I ended up getting like 5 cars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You was feeling yourself.
I was going crazy. 5 cars in a bike, right? Yeah. Like I'm going crazy. But the money I had left plus the extra 100, I just invested that back into the clothing company blindly. And then what happened was I ended up not paying my mortgage and then using that money to invest back in the clothing company. Because what did we say earlier? What we don't know is more expensive.
That's right.
Right? So what happened was now me not understanding I could pull equity from the property. The same thing that helped me acquire it.
Yep.
I could use that and pull money out.
Yep.
Or I could have a structured LLC, fund myself.
Yep.
And then I can have money that I'm borrowing from these financial partners and invest in my clothing company. I'm not paying the mortgage, bro. So I end up losing the property.
Yep.
So now I'm like, I got embarrassment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got shame. I got all these different feelings going on inside. I couldn't even go back to my street, bro. For like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. I couldn't even go back, right?
Yeah.
So then eventually I get into real estate because once the clothing company folded, and it's only because like me and my business partner, we just had like, we couldn't coexist as partners anymore in business, which was a decade later. I was asking God, I'm like, yo, like bring me a vision, bring me something that I can maintain or grow a substantial, better lifestyle. Because I wasn't trying to work for nobody.
Facts. Yeah.
Wake up one morning, go on my phone, I see real estate school. Right? And Monopoly my favorite game. So I'm like, oh, this is only $99. Let me see what this is about. So I ended up going to school. It was 2 weeks, and then the third week I ended up getting a license.
Nice.
And then I ended up doing my first deal while I was in school, which was a rental.
Yep.
So I was in real estate 8 years, licensed in Massachusetts and California.
Nice.
So started selling properties, helping buyers buy, helping sellers sell. So I have a good understanding of the space. But the understanding I have now is way greater. I'm not even in real estate anymore.
Yeah, it's a pivot.
So 100%. So one of the things I really like that I hear you talk about is like the cash flow roadmap.
Yep.
And like how to really set yourself up properly, you know what I'm saying, as someone that wants to go down this road. So break that down real quick.
Yeah. So the cash flow roadmap is our program that we do. And what I do in real estate, which is a little bit different from a lot of people, what they do in real estate, is I do a system called buy, flip, hold. And buy, flip, hold until your cash flow supersedes your flips. So it's basically taking that real estate information that I learned from being a realtor, learning how to find properties, analyze deals, knowing what ARVs are, knowing what entry numbers are, knowing what my exit strategies are, and then I will take that particular property, I would flip it, right? Once I take the proceeds from that, you have two options now. And what I teach is that the first option is you can take that money, you can put it in a 1031 exchange, and you can buy another property at equal value or more, right? As long as it's the same type of criteria that you bought the first property, meaning that you can't sell a primary property and then buy a rental property. It has to be primary for primary, rental for rental, right? That's the first option you can do. The second option you can do is what I take pride in, is that I take the proceeds from the flip, I run it through an IUL, take it through the IUL,
talk about
wait about 30, 60 days, and then I borrow from the IUL, and then I take that money through the 1031 exchange.
100%.
Whereas though, I don't have to have a conversation with the uncle that we never seen, which is Uncle Sam, right? So I run it through there, and then I take that money and I buy another rental property. So that's the buy, flip, hold. So I'm constantly, consistently understanding that. And what people don't talk about is that real estate is passive, but it's also active.
Yeah.
And you have to get active and activated in order to be passive.
I like that.
And people don't understand that. They think, I'm just going to get in, I'm going to get some cash flow and I'm set. No, you're not set. A lot of people teach real estate just a beginning process, right? What I just broke down, where I buy the properties, I flip it, then I buy the holds. When I buy the holds, I'm doing the BRRRR method, which I'm buying the property, I'm fixing it up, I'm placing the tenant. Once I place the tenant, I take the property and I cash out refi. Now, one thing for me coming up is that I was never a guy that believed in overextending yourself. Now, there are some properties that we call squeeze the lemon, where we might take out 75, 80% of the ARV of that property for the BRRRR method. But then after that, the next property, we may only take out 60%. We may only take out 55%. Yeah. It depends on what the numbers are. Some people want to squeeze every single property where their cash flow is probably $100 or less per door. That's not doing real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because anything that goes wrong, if you get a hot water tank to go bad, your HVAC go by, the heating system inside go bad, now your whole entire cash flow for the year is blown. So you have to come up with a system, and this is what I mastered in, is understanding not only just real estate, I understand the business of real estate. And so many people online, they're real estate influencers. I'm a real estate investor. I'm not an influencer. I'm not here to talk about, hey, y'all, my lifestyle is this much. No, I do this every single day and 4 hours on Sunday. This is my passion, right? This is my job. I learned a skill set that I believe in, and I know it works if you do the work.
Yeah. That's the thing. People got to work, bro.
Yeah, you definitely got to work.
You got to work the work.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that really prevents people from moving forward, because some like in some cases they think if they just purchase what it is, that's the work. Or if I watch a video, that's the work. Listen to an audiobook, that's the work. Nah, that's just you doing what's necessary to put you in position. That's like if you just go to the gas station and get gas, but don't drive the car.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you think, I got gas. Yeah. I charged my car. No. You need to drive now. That might be a 5-hour road trip. It might be an 18-hour road trip. It might be a 30-day road trip.
Right.
That's the actual work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what too is that some people don't realize that when you start off learning, when you get a mentor, when you get the information, that's just the first step.
That's the first step.
That's not your exit strategy.
Yeah.
That's the beginning process. And I think that's where a lot of people get left at, because they get the information. You can learn how to buy a property from YouTube. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? It's not buying the property. Is what do you do after that? I see a lot of people teaching you how to get properties, how to analyze deals. They put you in their programs, they put you in their courses. You get the property, and now you look to your left and your right, like, hey, now what do I do now?
Yeah.
I don't know how to get a tenant. I don't know how to be a landlord. I don't even know how to be a business owner. I have no idea how to structure my foundation of what I just did, because my mentor didn't teach me that. They only taught me how to analyze a deal and get the property.
Yeah.
That's where I come in at, because I teach the business of real estate.
So what's the steps? So I know you got classes you do, right? And I know you got obviously your method, right?
Yep.
So what are the steps? So obviously you made it this far on the podcast. I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, he got a good story.
Yeah.
I like I love how you got it set up, right? So I can just imagine, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
what are the steps that one would begin at if they want to work with you, and then obviously acquire, and then take the next steps from there?
Yeah. So the very first step is you have to understand, what is it that you understand, right? What part of real estate do you say, hey, this is what I want to do in real estate because this is what I understand? And then you have to find the person that's doing it. And when you find the person that's doing it, you get close to that person. So if you say, hey, I want to do wholesaling, you find a person that's great in wholesaling, then you get started in wholesaling. When you come to my program, one of the things that I'm different from other people, you just can't click a link in my bio and pay for the program. We have to have a conversation. So if you come to me and you say, hey, Calvin, I want to join your cash flow roadmap community hands-on, and we have the conversation, I ask you, what's your credit score? and you say to me that my credit score is 500, you're not ready for my program.
Yeah, facts.
And I'm not going to just take your money, because if my program is $7,500 and your credit score is a 580, yes, I'm going to teach you the information. Information is on me. Execution is on you.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to teach you the information, but you can't execute. So I tell people, listen, take that $7,500, go get your credit fixed first, then come back and see me. Yeah. Because now we both can work together. I don't win by taking your money if you can't win.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people misconstrue that. Like, my winnings are because we're winning together. We're not winning if my credit score is 800, you at an 850. I mean, you at a 550 or a 650, and you can't execute the strategies I'm giving you. So basically, you're going to turn around months later and say that my program don't work.
100%.
You know what I mean? So the steps I say is, 1, figure out what you want to do. 2, create a system. Save yourself time, energy, money, and stress.
So you give them the system options?
Yes.
Okay.
So the options that I give them is, 1, if you don't have the criteria to start the hands-on program, then I say, listen, what you need is to be in my community. My community is much, much cheaper. You can get inside of that. You can start learning. You can start developing yourself. Then you can get the information that you need to go into the next phase. So I'm going to nurture you for the next step. A lot of people go after the big tier. Hey, join this big program, then down, if you can't get that, do this. No, my whole goal is, where do you fit in my program that I can help you?
Let's build you.
Not you helping me. I'm trying to help you. People think, hey, if I send you an invoice, that you're investing in me. No, you're not. You're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're paying me to help you get to where you got to go. So if you're not in position to execute for execution immediately, then you go to a community so you can be enriched and you can grow with people. And once you get to that phase, then you come up to the other program. And I walk people through that phase from the beginning to the end.
So let's talk about your classes real quick. So I want to tap into the class.
Sure.
Where do I go? What can I expect? And then once I get out of there, what are my options?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times the big misconception about real estate, whether if it's online or in person, my very first biggest class is the Cash Flow Roadmap Hands-On, which is in Philadelphia. So if you are somebody who can get to Philadelphia, I teach class every Friday.
Oh, this in person?
This in person, one-on-one in person.
You be doing the person joints?
Yes.
Free?
Not free.
How much?
So the class is $7,500.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in person.
Very,
every Friday?
Every Friday.
So you do it in person every Friday?
Yes.
In Philly?
Yes.
And they can pull up?
Yes.
What y'all doing? That sound crazy.
And here's the thing. Here's what's special about it.
How many people in there?
So I don't take no more than 10 mentees every 4 months.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Small classes, so because everybody learns different.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm doing small classes. But here's the more exciting thing about it, Brendan. When you are interested in doing that, before I send you the invoice and you pay it, I tell you, pull up.
Experience it.
I want you to see it.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I can send you a whole funnel full of people saying, hey, Calvin is great. And you're going to be like, oh yeah, you're reading it, you listening to it. Nah, pull up. If you're serious about getting this information, because I'm serious about what I do, I'm in the fields every day.
I like it.
Pull up.
I like it.
Come see what I'm doing, walk it out. And if this fits you, pay your invoice before you leave.
I like it, bro.
Pull up.
I like it.
Pull up.
I like it.
Right? So,
man, that's crazy.
so that's like the biggest tier you can do. Now, if you're somebody that you can't get to Philadelphia and you absolutely want to get the real estate, but you can't get to Philadelphia. So now what I have to do is, and what I do is you're getting your virtual cash flow roadmap on hand. Right? Now, in that virtual program, basically, you're going to be walking through your process. You don't get Friday lives like them, but you might get a Wednesday or Saturday where we're walking through your project.
Online.
Yeah. Online. Right? So now that's a little bit cheaper, right? So that's $6,500.
Like that.
But you're still getting class every day online.
Bro, so for the extra $1,000, they can just come in person?
Yep.
Y'all just need to take that.
Yep.
That just makes sense to me.
It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So now if you're somebody and you're like, you know what, that's really, Calvin, I want to be there, but I can't be there. No problem. My credit score is not where it needs to be to execute. No problem. Now you join my community. My community is $50 a month.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And $50 a month, you get one class that I teach live.
Yeah. You
get all discounts on consultation calls. You're going to get all the information inside. You just got to do more work in the community because you got to look at it. It's $50 a month. 100%. I'm going to give you the resources, but you have to do a little bit more work. But if you need me to hold your hand, walk you through some things, pull up.
Man, so listen, before we get out of here, because first of all, I'm going to have to pull up.
Pull up,
That joint sound good to me.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely some real estate I want to acquire here in Florida.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm not really like emotionally tied to where I need to be at. So I'm definitely down with investing in other cities and stuff like that.
Yep.
So before we get out of here, do you have, obviously you got the weekly classes,
Yep.
Live and virtual.
Yep.
But do you have anything coming up outside of that you want people to know about, or would you rather them either come to the virtual or come to the in-person?
So one thing I would say is, and I like to do this when I'm speaking on other people's platforms and podcasts, is that if you're listening to this podcast, I want you to tap in, right? Shoot me a DM. First of all, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. 100%. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
Second step is you're going to follow me. You're going to shoot me a DM and you're going to tell me something that you learned on this podcast. You're going to tell me something that you learned, something that inspired you, and tell me what is your real estate goals. Now, if you do this and you do this fast, because success loves speed, I will pick one person and give them free mentorship.
Yo, this is the thing. I'm gonna just be real quick before we get out of here. I don't know if you checked this stat, but the average view duration on a YouTube video that's over 30 minutes, 15 minutes. So most people, they're not even getting to the end.
Right.
So if you got to the end,
right,
and you actually took some of the gems and you DM'd him and you told him exactly what's the takeaways are, you might win this mentorship.
You're gonna win.
And the odds are definitely more in your favor than not, because most people are not gonna make it to the end.
That's facts.
Yeah, for sure.
That's facts.
Sure, bro. So let them know the Instagram.
Yep.
And do you have like a domain that they can sign up for the class and everything?
Absolutely. So right now, you can follow me on all social media platforms at CalvinCannonJr. That's all social media platforms, right? The domain that you want to get to is the cashflowroadmap.com. You go on there, you're going to see the community, right? So if you're somebody say, hey, I just want to get into the community, I want to see what Calvin is talking about, what's going on, start there. And then book your ticket, pull up.
All right, man. Listen, that was great, bro.
Appreciate you.
It's been another episode of the podcast. Make sure you lock into him. Calvin, listen, I might actually pull up to Philly. So if I pull up to Philly, you probably need to come too.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, because obviously I feel like everyone needs to acquire real estate. Why?
Sure.
Because everyone needs to live somewhere.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's really like a no-brainer. It's been a while since that last property I owned. So it's time to get back in the game.
Listen, man, one thing I'll tell you, you never lose in real estate.
Never.
You only lose when you quit.
Let's go. All right, y'all. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this episode out, and send them a DM and see if you can win that mentorship ASAP. And again, the odds of you winning it is probably way better than you think, because most people have not made it to the end of this podcast. All right.
Sure.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Is your podcast still not monetized? Apple has over 2 million podcasts on their platform, but only 450,000 of them are active. The truth is 90% of podcasts quit before episode 10, and of the remaining podcasts, only half of them really know how to get money. And they rely on brand deals, sponsorships, and a large audience. So if you're really ready to scale your podcast to 100K, click the link below, book a call, and let's see if you're a good fit for the program.